So ladies and gentlemen, since a lot of you really liked my Batman suit ranking video from best to worst, a lot of you commented on there saying, what about Superman? Well, today it's time to do the Son of Krypton versus Son of Krypton, actually, because this is a best to worst, in my opinion, in my opinion, on the Superman suits that we've had so far in live action. Now, I do just want to preface this, because there's some people who comment on the video just saying, worst ranking ever. That's your opinion. More power to you if you freaking love Dean Cain's suit better than, I don't know, Henry Cavill's suit. I guess I'm trying to just look at it in a design perspective as well, but no matter what, at the end of the day, calling this like a from worst to best, I feel a bit too harsh, because we all have little special places for various suits depending on what you kind of grew up with, I suppose, or what meant more to you at that time and sticks with you more now. So either way, hope you guys enjoy this. I would love to compare my top 10 list. Actually, I think this is technically 11 to yours. Go ahead and like this video if you do go on to enjoy it, and subscribe for more videos like this. And also, yeah, let me know in the comments down below as well. Do you want to see more ranking videos like this? Let me know your suggestions for rankings down in the comments. Coming in at number 10/11, but I kind of want to rope it all into one here, and it's actually multiple Superman suits. So you may be like, why aren't you giving them their own numbers? I kind of did in my notes, but it's like a lot of these earlier ones, like the 1948 Kirk Allen one, and then the 1951 George Reeves one, and then we had that Superboy TV show with John James Newton and also Gerard Christopher. Like, I honestly feel like I've got them up right in front of me, and they just look very similar, and I really want to get onto the more complex suits that I feel like I can appreciate a little bit more, talk about a little bit more of the differences. I do like these suits that you're seeing on screen right now, but honestly, there's not all too much of a difference. I mean, I know we had that Superboy show, which was just the adventures of an earlier Superman. It wasn't actually Connor or anything like that way back then. The Kirk Allen 1948 Superman here, it really didn't change much between that and the George Reeves Superman one in 1951. I'm not sure if they reused it. I'm honestly not that knowledgeable about the 1950s freaking show versions. But if you're asking me, I think you can understand that whilst it is a very simplistic design, especially for the time that this suit was made for, I mean, the 50s for crying out loud, even the 40s in some instances here, you get why I'm kind of putting it all under the same umbrella. I appreciate it. It's probably some people appreciate it a lot more for vintage reasons, but in terms of ranking the coolest Superman suit that I appreciate, this is at the bottom of the list for me. But let's get into number 9, I suppose. And this is another kind of wrap up. I know, because I just didn't want to go through every little proto-Superman suit that Smallville had. But these are the Tom Welling suits, if you know what I mean. I know they aren't really Superman suits, but I know somebody would have commented down in the comments just saying, Boba, you forgot to include this TV version, because with the Batman suit ranking videos, I technically forgot to include the Batwoman Batman suit. And to be honest, I should have actually put that in there. So I didn't want to exclude, like, the red leather jacket Clark Kent that went round, but I like to call him Proto-Superman because we didn't really see Tom Welling as Superman until that very last scene, and even then, we didn't get an actual reveal other than a chest-tearing scene. But when I look back on it, I just think, you know, in terms of the suits, like the jackets with the S on it, it is cool. But, like, this is why it's right at, you know, second to last place, because it's not that I don't appreciate the designs. Some designs were more cooler than others. Some of it does feel very mid-2000s, which the show was in. As I said, I want to respect the time era these suits were kind of crafted for. And this just has your very kind of bold, in-your-face, early network show kind of leather jacket vibe, if you know what I mean. And a lot of Smallville stuff was like this. I don't really know what much more to say about it in terms of appreciating it for the actual Superman suit qualities, because it isn't a Superman suit at the end of the day. Now let's talk about Dean Cain. I used to love Lois and Clark growing up. I have to admit, this is a little bit of a nostalgia moment for me in terms of ranking this. I put it above the Smallville ones because, quite simply, it is a Superman suit. I put it at number 8 just because, considering everything else we have yet to get through, I feel like it's a fairly comfortable spot. I do feel like the S isn't as good as, well, what you can probably imagine I'm going to rank above this fairly soon. I haven't even rewatched it in years, so like I really do need to do that. I need to check out an episode or two, because I totally may be thinking more fondly about it than what it actually is. But I know a lot of people enjoyed Lois and Clark for its time. When I was a kid watching this unfold, seeing Superman, this suit just looked amazing to me. I know now, looking back at it, it's still got that very pajama look to it. There isn't remotely any kind of form of protection other than a Kryptonian Man of Steel himself's skin that would be bulletproof, obviously. So you're looking at it now objectively, or as objective as I can, and trying to take into account the time. It was decent, and I think Dean Cain does look like a really decent Superman, like given what this is designed for and what it was meant to do for the show. There is a black suit as well that I've got up here for Lois and Clark around the 3rd season, I believe, but you know, I'm not going to do a separate ranking for that because it's just like an alternate take, if you know what I mean. It's not exactly the Justice League black suit, which is going to have a full feature. This was just kind of like a one-off thing. Now up next, this is still maintaining that kind of pajama-y, themey kind of mode to it, is Christopher Reeves' Superman suit. The reason why I prefer this over Dean Cain's is not just because of the nostalgia of Christopher Reeves kind of just expelling such Superman energies. A lot of people would say quintessential Superman with Christopher Reeves, and I don't blame them. And that is why, in a similar sense to what I just said for the Dean Cain suit, he pulls it off so well. You know, because these days, especially a lot of kids wouldn't really appreciate so much the kind of design when going back to look at these early Superman suits, because they lack that kind of modern approach to manufacturing suits that, you know, we have with Titans or like The Boys. But I really do love Christopher Reeves in it. It just, I almost wouldn't want an upgraded Christopher Reeves suit. I mean, don't get me wrong, I would love to see a modernized version and to see him somehow brought back at that age and in like something that they would do for Henry Cavill. However, there's something about him that just pulls it off very well. I prefer it a lot more over the Dean Cain suit, just because the S on the Dean Cain suit really did feel like newbie. It wasn't as sharp as what they did for Christopher Reeves's, you know, House of L's crest there. Quite literally, the only reason Christopher Reeves's suit is at number 7 is because, you know, of everything else to my taste that we've still yet got to rank. I do appreciate the gold crest on the back of the cape as well. I personally don't go for that in my taste these days. I would always rather just a red cape. And this is one of the few instances as well where I prefer a bit more of a brighter blue on the suit, because Dean Cain's was a lot darker. I like a lot more of a, you know, darker toned blue. Whereas, you know, Christopher Reeves is a lot more sky cheery blue. And another thing, since we're going into the pants territory now, the underwear, I prefer Christopher Reeves' underwear. It's a less Y-fronty look. It's more of like a short boxer short look, if we're really going to get into analyzing this. Whereas Dean Cain's is like a... it's like a big kind of Y going down the thighs, if that makes sense. Whereas, yeah, Christopher Reeves is like a... if you're going to do the pants, well, make it short and look more like briefs, if you know what I mean. And it kind of blends in and makes it look a little bit less cheesy. Now, when choosing number 6, I really want to swap number 6 and number 5 around constantly, because when it comes to number 5, I keep thinking, look, at the end of the day, for me, it's a cooler design, even if I don't like a lot of aspects about it over number 6. And number 6, it looks so cool in certain ways, but it's not to my tastes, being like a modern-day Superman fan, which, you know, I fully admit. It's so hard, but number 6, I'm gonna have to say, is the Brandon Routh Superman suit from Superman Returns. Now, I've seen these suits in real life as well, and it honestly looks a lot better in person than seeing it far away on the movie screen. I feel like it has really good Superman colors, the right kind of blue. I love the more popping out symbol on the chest. For me, it is too small. I like a large crest. Not massive, but this is kind of too small. But I like how the emblem kind of extrudes out, like it's a very kind of 3D design, whereas most Superman designs are very, very close to the material, or are just straight up restitching kind of colors of the material, whereas this is like an actual plaque put on there. If you sold that to me on paper, I wouldn't like it that much, but it's nice. It just pops a lot more with those deep yellows and deep red in the chest. As I said, I've seen this in person. You're probably seeing it on screen, and I'll link a video down in the description where I actually went and did a kind of vloggy montage video to seeing Batman vs Superman suits, old Superman suits, Jack Nicholson's Joker stuff, Heath Ledger, like it's all in that video. And the little blue does have these little texturized symbols on it. And that's what I mean. When you look at it in a photo like this, it doesn't look like there's any kind of weaving, for example, that are very apparent in the Zack Snyder Superman suits. As a fairly modern day Superman fan, I'm still not a fan of like having pants there, but as I said with the Christopher Reeves one, at least it's more like boxers, very short boxers, rather than proper Y-front, you know, underwear. So it has that going for it. Symbols on belts, I always wonder about that. I'm always thinking that's normally overdoing it, but the way they have that there, combined with the smaller S on the chest, I don't know, it just works. Obviously, this is meant to continue the kind of Christopher Reeves approach, so you can kind of look at it like a, you know, almost modernized evolution of Christopher Reeves' Superman. And just another kind of criticism for the suits that don't have as much definition for muscles. Fair enough if you really like that. I do appreciate it, especially, you know, in my own way, as I said, like, I do like this design. I really, really do. But it does kind of give off, with all of these suits and the ones aforementioned in this video, the previous rankings, it kind of gives you that kind of, you know those toys where like you can stretch them, you can keep stretching the arms and legs, I forget what they're called, but when you have no muscle definition really on the suit too much and it gives that pajama look, it just feels like you can just stretch their arms out and they're one of those toys. It doesn't look cool, if you know what I mean. But up close, as I said, this suit looks a lot better than what it does on screen. So next up at number 5 is Tyler Hoechlin's Superman suit from Supergirl and his appearances throughout the Arrowverse. Now this is kind of odd timing, I suppose, to do this video because we will be getting a brand new Superman suit for Superman and Lois, the new TV show coming to the CW that is centered around his Superman with his family. As I said, I do in some ways prefer Brandon Routh's Superman Returns suit, but the reason why this gets one more point above that is because it's just got that modernized approach that I prefer more. Now, there's several factors I still don't like about it. I don't like how the cape comes over there. I prefer it being tucked in like the Brandon Routh's one. I do not like how dark it is in ways. I do in other ways. I just feel like the material they used, it just doesn't flatter it very well. It just has this kind of seam line look running throughout the suit that is very deliberate in the way they construct those seam lines. It's like patternized, so it kind of comes off like it's got these different layers to it. And it's just meant to stylistically improve it, I think, but to me it just looks like he's wearing some clothes with that like little stitching approach they do for it. I feel like the material they use almost looks like he's wearing some like jean kind of clothing. However, I have seen edits of this suit to the point where fans have made it a lot more vibrant, because that's another factor I don't like so much about this, is that it just looks desaturated. It could look so much better with a lot more vibrancy in it, and I think that's what they are doing for the new Superman suit for Superman and Lois, because I love the size of the symbol. That is what I'm after, that kind of size. However, it looks worn down. Maybe that's deliberately so because this Superman has been Superman in the Arrowverse for quite a while, but other than that, you can tell it was a suit not built to last, and they've even admitted that. That's why they're making a new one for Superman and Lois, and he's only had like these cameo-esque appearances throughout the episodes of Supergirl and also Crisis on Infinite Earths and other crossovers. So you get my kind of vibe here. Modernized, so that's why it has a 1-up on the Brandon Routh Superman Returns suit. It needs to pop more, and for those reasons, it's slightly above it, but it could look a lot better. And from what we've already seen from the new Superman suit, from very blurry photos, it looks like they've taken a lot of my criticisms, which is a lot of fans' criticisms, to hand. But I am happy to say at number 4, Brandon Routh does actually beat Tyler Hoechlin in one way, and that is with his Crisis on Infinite Earths kind of Kingdom Come Superman look. I'm sure a lot of you are aware already, even if you don't watch the CW, that Brandon Routh, the guy who played Superman in Superman Returns, came back to play Superman once again in Crisis on Infinite Earths, the massive crossover they did. And his suit was really awesome. It really is. I know it doesn't have the classic kind of symbol, but it's still to be appreciated from a very Kingdom Come standpoint from the comics. One thing you can tell here that he didn't have in his Superman Returns suit that I keep echoing here is, look, even though there's not loads of muscle definition, and that's one thing I don't like about the new Snyder suits, like in the Justice League suit, way too much. It's like he's a shiny little muscle kind of man. I don't know. You'll get my points there in a second. Here, it comes in a, not in a subtle way. It's obviously more than subtle, but it's not in your face. But it's not also to the point where there's almost an absolute lack of muscle definition, like in the very early 50s suits, right up until the Christopher Reeves suits, right up until Brandon Routh's suit, where they try to do like a modernized Reeves. However, this looks great. It's the same actor, so seeing him come back again in such a really cool suit was really impeccable. I like how they also modernized, as I keep mentioning in this video, if you're gonna do pants, don't do mega Y-front ones. That's a bit too cheesy for me, but if you make it into a bit more of a boxer short kind of pants kind of approach, it looks digestible for modernized Superman fans like myself. And I think it's very easy to say, especially standing side by side, that it looks a lot better than the Tyler Hoechlin suit that I just ranked before this. I love the texture on that suit as well. It's very low-key, but you can make it out. It's not so minimalistic to the point of where I said on Brandon Routh Superman Return suit, there is details, but stand this far away, you can't see it. Whereas on here, it does have the details in it, and you can really see the little kind of cross-hatchy kind of things. A lot better overall. I'm going to stop repeating myself now, but that was an absolutely awesome suit they constructed for Crisis on Infinite Earth. Such a short appearance as well. It really sucks that we didn't get to see more of him. So we're getting to the top 3 now. Number 3, even though I've said there's been black suits in my previous rankings, but I just looped them in with the same, you know, ranking because it was more like for an episode or two. Whereas with this one, I put the Snyder Cut black suit at number 3. How can I say that? Because we haven't seen the Snyder Cut. We know what the black suit looks like. That's why it's at number 3. Why did I give it its own ranking as well? Because it's in its own freaking film. He's going to be wearing that for a long time. We've got 2.5 hours of extra footage. Snyder has recolored the suit. He's wearing a normal colored Superman suit, but you know, in the after effects of it all, he is recolorizing it to the black and silver. It's not my favorite because A, it's a cool suit, but it's the black suit. It's not, I guess, being traditionalist Superman in approach and color is important to me in this ranking, where I guess for some other person out there watching this may be like, oh nah, the black and silver suit is number 1 for me easily. Fair enough. Number 3, it looks cooler than all of the other suits in the way they've approached it, so I think it one-ups it on almost every other level in the way modernized suits approach Superman, with a lot more kind of armoring, but not too much. I'm really not a fan of armoring even on Batman. Less is more, but somewhere in between is cool. But the black and silver suit, it kind of is somewhere in between. So that's why it's at number 3. My next 2 are probably fairly predictable, but who's going to sit at number 1? Is it going to be the BVS suit or the Man of Steel suit? Well, number 2 is the Henry Cavill Batman vs Superman / Justice League suit. I wrote these in because the changes between Justice League and BVS are so tiny, like, and enough changed from Man of Steel that I just want to rope them in together. I've got them both up right now, unless I'm being completely blind. The Justice League suit that was used for the Whedon cut is very similar to the one that he wore against Batman in Batman vs Superman. Now, these suits look great, and I know the Justice League suit is a lot more popping and vibrancy compared to the Batman vs Superman one, which I do appreciate because, honestly, they made the reds a lot more, you know, saturated, the goldy yellow. It's very obvious to see what I'm seeing, especially compared to Man of Steel. Like, that is a lot more drowned out and deliberately dark toned. And as I said, they look great. They're at number 2 for a reason. But they're not at the top for me, the Batman vs Superman one, you know, the proper revised Snyder suit compared to Man of Steel. Because even though they do improve upon these certain things that number 1 has in this video, it's just, I really don't like what they did to it in those changes. And that is, it's just way too shiny. I'm looking at it right now. Some people might not even pick this up, but it's for me, it's like he's been wrapped in cling film. Do you know what I mean? Like what you wrap your sandwiches in, and it's got that shiny kind of... It's just like the suit. It's been wrapped in that, and he's just shining everywhere. I just feel like what Snyder did with these latest Superman suits is they got the color palette right. They brightened it up from the Man of Steel suit. They changed the symbol a little bit to be a little bit smaller compared to the Snyder one, which I really don't like as well. And then it's like they got Henry Cavill and just dunked him in the bit of wax to give him a shine. The muscle definition is just too hardcore for me. I know Superman's meant to be Superman and swole, so to speak, but if you look closely, the abs pop so much. His pecs, his shoulder muscle, his biceps, it's like shine. Paint a bit of shine. Silver highlight here, silver highlight here, silver highlight here. It's like that's just not present or nearly as reflective in lighting on the Man of Steel suit. Which is why, people, number 1's ranking my favorite Superman suit, even though I have a lot of problems with it at the same time. This is why it's kind of hard to definitively say this is my perfect suit, because number 1 still isn't my perfect suit, but that is the Man of Steel suit. I love it. It is fantastic. It is great in almost every way. I feel like Snyder did so many things right with that. I don't mind the belt change so much from Man of Steel to the Justice League or BVS suit. I would be fine if they kept that new belt logo for the Man of Steel suit, but it just looks better in every other way, in every way that I just didn't complain about with the BVS and Justice League suit. So, for example, I love the symbol on this. It is a lot bigger. It may not be noticeable until you look at it like a couple of times. If you look at the BVS suit, the Justice League suit, compare that to the Man of Steel suit, it's a lot more grander on Henry Cavill and Man of Steel. However, one thing I do want to acknowledge with all of this, it's washed out. Yet again, just like the Tyler Hoechlin comment I said earlier, if you look at some of the fan edits where they just make the Man of Steel suit get a lot brighter blue, a lot deeper reds, just saturated overall, that is my perfect Superman suit. So basically what they did to the Justice League suit in the Whedon cut made it a lot more saturated. Do that to the Man of Steel suit, and to me, you have the perfect Superman suit. Another reason why I love this so much is because, yes, it's got muscle definition, so it's got a +1 on things that I said the Brandon Routh Superman return suit and the Christopher Reeves and the Dean Cain suit didn't have. Like, those were pajamas, here we've got a suit. So I'm glad about that, but guess what it didn't do? It didn't do what Justice League did, and BVS to quite a degree as well, is give him a load of shine, make him like almost as if you had a camera, he's like a diamond jewel, it's sparkling off him everywhere. I don't want to sound like I'm over exaggerating with that, but seriously, you don't get that on the Man of Steel suit. It's, yeah, sure, it's got some shine reflect on it, but not in every little glance of a pec or a corner where there's a muscle. It's not like, Henry Cavill doesn't need that as well. He's muscly as hell, so that's why he looks so good in the Man of Steel suit. It also does tone it down a little bit, even though it's got muscle tone in it. It also does give you a familiar feeling of, yeah, he's huge, but he's not like Action Man huge. Like, oh, simple Action Man, generic, like, absolute mahoosive guy that I feel like the latest suits give off. This gives you a blend of old kind of traditional Superman suits where it lacks a bit of muscle like Christopher Reeves, but it gives you a mixture. It gives you muscle tone, but doesn't overdo it. Doesn't overdo it like you're seeing on screen. I know a lot of people prefer the BVS suit and the Justice League suit for the reasons that they are still amazing suits. The fact that he looks really muscly, the color is a lot better than the Man of Steel one. However, despite the color reasons, like the absolute lack of color in Man of Steel, and I think that is honestly one of the few criticisms I have, just given the Justice League coloring, perfect. One thing I do like as well, I know this is going to be kind of controversial as well to see opinions in the comments, but I really like that Zack decided to give and maintain Henry Cavill's natural wavy hair. I wouldn't say he's curly, he's like wavy, kind of like me in Man of Steel, but for Batman vs Superman, he kind of combed it back. Very typical Superman haircut in Justice League and Batman vs Superman, but I love how, I feel like he looks a lot better rocking his natural hair, but I feel like maybe they made that creative decision because it just isn't as Superman if you don't comb it back and attempt that. But man, I really hope a lot of you agree with me here, at least on number 1. I get maybe being pickier about the more intricate numberings beforehand for like 4, 5, 6, 7 or whatever. But I really do love the Man of Steel suit. I'm repeating myself so much here, but that crest is so much more poppy. It looks so much better and bolder. They don't overdo the muscles. Just give them the colors and you'll be done. I know this was a long video. I know it's going to be interesting. I know people are going to say absolute worst ranking ever, but hey ho. I hope you enjoyed it anyway. I'm looking to do more rankings like for the whole Arrowverse suits. That's going to be kind of a long video because there's a lot of design in that. Please give me your own opinion because I'm dying to read where you lie in between all the ones I ranked in this video. And if I somehow forgot one, I'm sorry. Like, I don't know how I did, but I don't know. But thank you so much for watching. Hope you all have a lovely rest of your day. And I'll see you Kryptonians in the next video. Goodbye.